All right, welcome to a special edition of Jesse Watters Primetime. As you can tell, I am not Jesse Watters. I will be Brian Kilmeade. But we start tonight with a poem.
'Twas 5 days before Christmas, and all through this house, not a lawmaker was resting, not even their spouse. The CR was stalled, the debates full of heat, while a shutdown shadow loomed over our streets.
Beautiful. That was until about 2 hours ago, when the House finally passed a new spending bill to keep the government from shutting down. And it took them a few tries. The first was 1,500 plus pages, and the bill was filled with a lot of pork. Trump and Elon didn't like it. You may have heard. To no surprise, they both killed it. They slashed the second bill by 1,400 pages. And when it went to the House floor, dead again. Democrats and a few Republicans wiped it out. So tonight, we got a new bill, and it passed 366-234. Surprise, everyone wants to go home for the holidays. That's why it passed, perhaps. Here's Speaker Johnson.
We are really grateful that tonight, in bipartisan fashion, with overwhelming majority of votes, we passed the American Relief Act of 2025. This is a very important piece of legislation. It funds the government, of course, until March of 2025. That was a big priority for us. This is America First legislation because it allows us to be set up to deliver for the American people. We encourage swift passage in the Senate now. They need to do their job, as the House just did. We will all go home.
Right? Yep, we're not done yet. The bill is only 118 pages, but there's no increase in the debt ceiling. Democrats voted yay. They unanimously are calling this a win.
House Democrats have successfully stopped extreme MAGA Republicans from shutting down the government, crashing the economy, and hurting working class Americans all across the land. House Democrats have successfully stopped the Billionaire Boys Club. This is a victory for the American people.
Well, you know he was going to say that anyway. Meanwhile, the 34 no's came from Republicans. Tim Burchett of Tennessee was one of the 34. Here's what he had to say.
Well, I voted against it, of course. What's the difference between the bill yesterday and today, except this one they took out the part that Trump actually liked, that he wanted in there. We don't trust this Biden administration with a nickel, and we're giving them $100 billion to play with for 30 days. I think there's a lot of holes in that.
Speaker Johnson says he spoke to Trump. He spoke to Elon before the vote, and he says they were happy with the bill.
I was in constant contact with President Trump throughout this process, spoke with him most recently about 45 minutes ago. He knew exactly what we were doing and why, and this is a good outcome for the country. I think he certainly is happy about this outcome as well. Elon Musk and I talked within about an hour ago, and we talked about the extraordinary challenges of this job. And I said, hey, you want to be Speaker of the House? I don't know.
It's a lot of name dropping. Elon tweeting out this: the Speaker did a good job here. Given the circumstances, he went from a bill that weighed pounds to a bill that weighed ounces. Here's how Democrats feel about him.
What does this say to you about the role Democrats can expect Elon Musk to play in the next few years?
Well, Elon Musk amazingly blew up an agreement that had been negotiated arduously over a 4 or 5 week period among House and Senate Democrats, House and Senate Republicans, all by one tweet. That tweet has derailed the Congress for the last 48 hours, essentially. But we've ended up in a pretty good place. But this can never happen again.
Republicans say politics is like making sausage. Sometimes it gets messy.
You know, when you make sausage, sometimes it's not pretty, right? And so this is making sausage. And so, no, I always had confidence to get it done. And there would be a formula. There was always a way to get it done. And so, we just had to get there.
All right. A lot of people say, okay, what is it like to make sausage? Everyone's comparing it to making sausage. So let's look. It's terrible. I don't like it. No wonder people don't want to see sausage being made. The bill heads over to the Senate, and we're expecting a vote any moment now. President Biden won't stay up for it. We've been telling you about President-elect Trump, very involved. What about the actual President of the United States? He still has the job. He's been in Delaware, has been mostly checked out. Politico says AWOL. He just spoke to Jeffries Hakeem for the first time in 12 hours. Earlier in the week, they hadn't heard from him. One person saying, I haven't gotten any message from President Biden or heard anything that he's saying. Does anyone understand what he's saying, even when he's saying something? The White House says that's just how he negotiates.
Why haven't we seen or heard from President Biden himself?
This is a strategy that we have done many times before, not the first time. And this is for Republicans in Congress, in the House.
He's the Seinfeld presidency. Nothing happens. That's his strategy. Joe does nothing. Brilliant. It's almost like the sitting president just quit.
Do you think Biden has quietly quit?
No, absolutely not.
We'll see. If he don't do nothing over the next 30 days, I'm gonna say he quit.
Charlemagne's right. He quit. Biden's gone, and the 47th president, Donald Trump, is already making deals. I think he wrote a book about that, according to reports.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.